Welcome to the Other Side Pod. I'm Nadine. We're not experts. We're just humans having a human experience we think you can learn from, or relate to, or laugh at, or cry over. So hit download, dive in, and hear how folks found themselves on the other side. We're back with Mother and Sister.
Hi.
What's your favorite breakfast food?
Moi? Porridge.
What?
I knew you were going to say
Porridge?
that.
Really?
Porridge
She
is
makes-
my favorite, absolute favorite thing to have. And I guess it's from my childhood because that's kind of like was a go-to, a staple. I guess a cheap food item, readily available because it was in dried form. You didn't need refrigeration. It was in a bag and you stored it in a cover. It was always flavorful because if you put enough sugar and milk on something, it's bound to be flavorful.
Okay, so rolled oats, you boil them on the stove?
You do just simmer 3, 4, 5 minutes, depending on the type of rolled oats. There are obviously different kinds you can get.
Yeah, right.
Steel cut and large flake and instant and all of that, right? But a good nutritious start to your day, right? I always find it
This
filling.
podcast sponsored by Quaker.
Quaker oats.
Quaker.
What's the money rolling? Yeah, we're gonna be sponsored by like Quaker, Pepto Bismol, magnesium.
Why not? Does that entail money and trips?
Watch it rolling.
That's right.
Don't forget to pack your Depends. Sponsored by Depends.
That depends.
Danielle, what's your favorite breakfast food?
I love toast. I just love simple toast and butter in the morning time, slathered with like peanut butter. Sometimes jam if I'm up for it, but mostly just peanut butter.
Oh, I
That's
love
like
a good
my-
slice of toast.
And mom's been making homemade bread, like those sourdoughs and artesian breads lately, which is just delicious. But just like a thick slice.
Artisan bed. Artesian.
Jeez.
Artisan. Oh, my heart is still.
Mom makes artisan bread. Sponsored by Artisan Bread.
I always say that word wrong. Oh my
I love you saying that. I
God.
love you.
Oh my God.
So what's your favorite, Dee?
I do still love a pancake. I just can't have it now because a lot of them are made with milk. So I make my own with almond milk. And oh my God, a pancake is so delicious. Then I stew like berries with a bit of maple syrup and vanilla extract and pour it over. So good.
Yummers.
I like toast with butter.
I know. I
Just how
do
different
love
we are.
a slice of
I
sourdough
just
bread
do
with
like a
butter.
little, I saute like
Compote.
berries with a little honey, a little compote over my almond floured pancake.
I know, so good. Anyway,
Mm.
bucket lists sponsored by Buckets.
Aisle
Do either-
11 of your grocery store.
Of Canadian Tire. Okay, I want to talk about bucket lists. Here's what brought me to this. Every year I plan a vacation and I'm booking it and researching it, and I like doing all those things. My dream trip is South Africa. I have been saying that since I was 16. I'm 48. I've never once attempted to plan to go to South Africa. It's almost like now it's this thing that I just love the idea of. Like, I'm going to do it, but it's like the anticipation is so exciting that like it's almost, I don't know, I'm having a hard time explaining it, but like, why don't I sit and actually plan South Africa and go? It seems too big. It seems like, oh, not yet. That's like my dream trip. And I'm only a baby, except now I'm like, well, you're 48. So why do you keep planning trips to other places and not do this dream trip? So anyway, it's kind of shaking me to my core thinking about it lately. So do you guys have something like this?
I don't, but do you think that if you did eventually book that trip and go, that would be it? Like, oh my God, there's nothing else to look forward to.
No, because I also can't wait to go to Japan and spend David and I have this idea of spending a month in Japan because there's so much to do and see, and And that's also like a bigger trip that we're like, oh, okay, we're gonna do that. And there's lots of places that I want to go. Like we just booked Amsterdam after I see you in London, actually, Mom, because neither of us have been to Amsterdam, and I also want to go to Denmark one day, and I want to go to Switzerland. Like, there's like tons of places. I mean, I want to go to Tofino in my own country. I think it seems like such a big trip that it almost seems out of reach, except I've spent money on all these other things. If I just
Yeah.
don't spend
Yeah.
money there and do this, it's the same. So yeah, why am I not planning it? Well, so the idea is for my 50th. But even then, why not for my
Yeah.
49th? Like,
Why
why
not
am I
now?
making it such a... So
Big
if I
thing.
were to say there's a bucket list, I don't like to say that's on a bucket list because bucket list to me sounds like, well, I guess the definition of bucket list is things I want to do before I die. And so maybe there's a part of me like Dad, remember he didn't want to make a will because he's like, the minute
Yeah.
I make a will, I'll die. And then jokes on us, that happened.
Jokes on us.
That did.
I
That
mean,
did.
yeah.
He
Oh
warned
God.
us. He
I know.
warned
And the
us.
night, and I remember that hospital bed that night, and he looked at me and he was like, "Glad I did my will now." I was
Right?
like, "Dad." He was like, "Talk humor. I'll get you through, sweetheart." I was like,
I know.
"Fair." And I'm told that story over and over. Like, he never wanted to make that will because it equated
No.
to death,
N-
which I guess
A,
is
a,
the bucket
a
list. Or
final act. Yeah, a
a
final
final
act. And
act.
that's how he always felt. And I
Yeah.
just went along with him, and I never ever made a will either until that time, right? But yeah, it was an
So
innate
wait,
fear that he
bucket
had.
list aside, for everyone listening, you had 3 kids and not a will to be found. So if something happened, where would myself, Danielle, and Stephen have gone?
We'd figure it out. Somebody would have figured
We
it
were
out.
children.
Somebody would
Just
have
stop.
figured it out. We had people who loved you, sweetheart.
But they didn't know where they... I can't even. Okay, so you didn't do a will your whole
Sweetheart,
life.
obviously, we never had to worry about it. And I don't know, and your father would never ever talk about dying. Maybe he thought he never was going to die because, we all know we're going to die, but we all think, oh God, that's not going to happen to me type thing, or maybe not till
Yeah.
way, way down the road. He just never ever wanted to discuss it. Every time I bring it up, he just pushed it aside. So we just hope that we wouldn't die. And what were the chances of 2 of us dying at the one time, for Christ's sake? You'd always have one pair to the other, right?
I mean, great.
I mean,
Considering the traveling you did.
yeah, and the places
Which
you
is
went
why,
traveling.
which is why I was like, you guys need a will. You cannot leave us to figure all this out. I mean, we were 40s and 50s. I was like, guys, like,
It's on you too.
I know that we're older, but we're not going to figure this out. Like, you need to tell us what you
But
want.
you would figure it out, sweetheart. You would. That's
Oh
what
my
we
God,
always
you
said.
totally
What else you
would.
gonna do? Yeah, what else you gonna do after we're gone? You gotta give you something to do, right? Figure
Got
out
enough
your life.
on our plates. We don't. No. I'm gonna get you the Swedish art of death for your next birthday.
What is
There's
that?
like I think it's like the Swedish art of dying. I haven't read it yet, but I think it's about setting yourself up for your death so that the people that are still alive after you don't have the work of going through all of that stuff. It's
I
like, I mean,
think. Go
you're
ahead.
not you're not a hoarder by any means. You're like the
No.
opposite, where like you get rid of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like every year you were always spring cleaning, winter cleaning, all that stuff, and I'm the same way. So it's not like we're gonna walk into the house and be like, oh God. But some people have a lot of stuff, like basements full of things and old paperwork and this and that, and it's hard to know like where their will is, what do they want, what does she like. It's just making things simpler for those behind so that when you're in deep grief, you also don't have to tackle the insurmountable, sometimes what probably feels insurmountable task of going through all of someone's stuff and figuring out where they wanted to go.
And I think the opposite. I think after somebody dies, it's nice to have those things to sit into, to deflect your mind, to take you to a different place and let you go down memory lane and let you decide as you're going what you want to keep, what you want to divide up. Big things I can understand, like if you had money or a home or whatever, all of that stuff. But personal stuff, what else you got to do with your time when somebody is dead and you're in between going to the funeral home, waiting for the service to be done, celebration of life or whatever. I think it helps to bring families together at a time of great loss and sorrow. That's just how I feel about it, honey. I don't necessarily think I have to have everything in place when I'm gone because you'll figure it out. Everybody figures it out. It's just the way it
Yeah, but
is. What?
house aside, like main things
Yeah.
aside, some people have a lot of things. Like you don't. Like you have a lot of things. You have a house full of
Yeah.
things, but I think some people have an insurmountable amount of stuff that like
Mhm.
why would you leave that to somebody else?
I'd
Why
go
would you
in
leave it?
if somebody did that to me and I went into that house, if it was my parents or in-laws, or I would just bring garbage bags and I'd say, obviously they didn't want to do anything with this, so I would just dump it, donate what I could. I don't look at it as overwhelming, and maybe I'm looking at it in I much different like than you guys, but I don't think that that would be overwhelming. I think it would be a process that not that I wouldn't enjoy, but I would enjoy going through. I think it's
Mm.
a trip through people's lives. It's a look inside what was important to somebody else, you know. And I remember with Aunt Loretta when we moved her out of the apartment and into a seniors assisted living. And that's what we had, you know, your dad and I had to do with her. And it was basically, and she sat and she watched it. And I said, Aunt Loretta, would you like to leave? Or, you know, we'll do this. Oh, no, she said, I'm fine. She said, they're all just things. And that's what they were. You know, things, they were important for a time when she needed them and used them and appreciated them. But it comes a point, whether it's just before you're ready to go or after you're gone.
Mm.
I think these are just things, papers. I don't know if you were an artist. That there's only so much of that stuff that you could keep anyway. But I would think it would be for me even to have stuff to go through. I think it just it's interesting to see what's important. Like you think you know somebody, but people hang on to little different things for different reasons. And like I said, I think it would help me through the grieving process, right? Having gone through grieving processes in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I agree with you on going through people's photos and artwork and that stuff.
yeah.
I think we're talking about two different things. I think you need to know, like your kids or whoever you're leaving your things to. Well, I mean, if you don't have a will, who knows what you're leaving to who? Like if you have a house, you have cars, you
It's
have,
different. Yeah,
yeah, I think, you
yeah.
have to have that set up. But I can't believe you didn't do that till we were all adults.
No,
Did it
no.
ever keep you up at night knowing that we didn't have that stuff in place? No.
No, no. When you're young, honey, you don't think about those things. You don't think about dying. You don't think about the what ifs. You're going along day to day and you're hoping you're gonna go along, and you hope your kids are coming along with you. Obviously, lots of tragic things happen in people's lives, but I don't know, we just never prepared for it. And what would have happened? I'm sure you would have been taken care of. And I you probably were stressed out because of it, not a lot more than what your dad and I were. But we just never gave it a second thought. It just, I don't know if
I
most
didn't
people
think
do. I really, really don't. And you're from a different generation now than what we were. But back in the day, you figure, well, I got nothing. What do I want a will for? If you die, the kids are going to inherit whatever you got anyway. Right?
But here's the interesting thing.
Yes.
Okay. And also, so you know, I didn't think about it as a little kid.
So
Never
good.
crossed my mind. Okay. But you pushed me to get a will, like probably, I don't know, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. And you were like,
Mhm.
you have to have this figured out because you and David aren't legally married.
Right.
So here's the flip side. Instead of being like, it'll all work out, you'll figure yourself out, you are looking at your daughter going, get this in order
Yes.
because,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So,
that's the legal part, and you're talking financial
yeah. Hmm.
things. It's a lot different than what we talked about earlier, going into somebody's home and saying this person was a mini hoarder and they kept all of this stuff. That's a lot different. I can appreciate, yes, having your financial situation all, you know, written out in as ironclad as you can make it. I think that's entirely different, sweetheart. And we never had that because we figured, well, we only had three kids, so whatever we had would go to you anyway. So it was kind of like a default. If you got it, if we're gone, you got it
Okay, so
anyway.
legally, if you don't have a will
Yeah.
and you have three kids, legally, if God forbid both parents died, even though you don't have a will, that money and your house would immediately be divided equally between the kids you have. Is that like,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's inheritance right. Yeah, as far as I know. Now, I mean, it might cost you money to go through the court system to have a lawyer do all that and go through probate and make sure that, our debts were all paid and that. But yes, legally, that's your legal inheritance, right?
Still think you need to have it set up to avoid like the time it would take to have access to it, how
Yeah.
it would be divided.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we could have invited Chris Pettigrew on here to tell us the
All
the
of those
legal.
things. But back in the day, they
Yeah.
weren't an issue for us. They weren't. It was
Mhm.
just it was an afterthought to even have a will.
Yeah,
Because
and like your parents wouldn't have had a will, right? That wasn't even a
no,
thing.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Mhm.
exactly, sweetheart.
Got it.
Exactly, right?
Danielle, do you have a will?
Yeah, I think it's just from a legal. I don't have a will, no, but I have no dependents. So, I mean, I should have a will to leave everything to
Yeah.
somebody,
Yeah, 'cause
like
it'll
my
go to
house,
the
and
it'll go to the state, I think. Wouldn't it?
so there is like
No,
a
your
list of like where,
siblings.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there is a list legally of who it goes to. Like
Got
I
you.
don't know it off my hand, but I remember when I worked in acute care, when people didn't have wills when they passed away, there
Yeah.
is a list legally of who it goes to, like first, second, third, and fourth. If
Got
you're
you.
Right.
married, or if you have kids, or if you are not married,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, the difference if someone's married with children or just married, legally
Yeah.
you're bound
Mhm.
together. But if you're with somebody like yourself and David, who are married by heart and soul, but don't have that legal documentation, if for whatever reason one went before the other, you have no legal right to property or anything
Yeah.
like that. So anyone could
It's different in
attest it.
Ontario. With common law rights in Ontario, it's different than the common law rights in Newfoundland. So I remember
Yeah,
going in
I
like
think any provincial
anyway, it doesn't
place,
matter. We
but
got a will just
does
in
and
case.
we don't know the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
So
not
you
So
didn't get
legal
a will.
experts.
yeah,
No.
no, I
No.
don't have a will. I should, but I don't. But yeah, oopsies.
Mm.
To
Okay, Beth.
write something down in your own handwriting and put it in
True.
a
Yeah,
But you'd probably need
yeah.
someone to witness it, like get mom to
Yeah.
witness it and sign or something.
I can't kind of
yeah,
just I'd be a beneficiary.
right.
Have to be somebody that's not if I'm
I
still
love
here.
it.
I would have
How presumptuous of you, mother. What if I gosh, now it's just Connor and Ethan.
presumptuous. No, I'm just
Yeah,
saying name if somebody is named in your will,
Yeah.
they can't be a witness, right? And I'm
yeah.
just
Yeah.
talking about I'm here now and she's here now, not
Yeah, I get
projecting.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. Okay, so dad the whole time never like his whole life he never wanted to talk about death.
No,
No.
no.
Like what would happen if you tried to bring it up?
He would just shut it down, not talking about it. Not talking about it. Not doing a will.
Love it.
If you do a will, you're gonna die. I could never
Oh.
get him to it was a fear that he always had, or I don't know,
Oh.
a superstition, or maybe he had heard stories growing up. I don't know. I mean, he lost his dad at a young age, so I don't know. And that affected him. I mean, his father his father did have a will, actually.
Definitely affected him. His father
Yeah,
had a
so
will that long ago.
yes, it's a paper written. It
Right.
wasn't legal, but it was a paper thing and signed. And actually, his mom destroyed it because he had left the house and that and stuff to dad because he was the male and the girls didn't get anything back in the day. But she wasn't having any of that. She wanted her two daughters, dad's two sisters, to have equal rights to whatever they had, which was, a home and a piece of property over in Northern Bay where they grew up, right? But anyway, that's
Love
the
her.
story that
Go,
dad always told. Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
grandma.
She destroyed it. Yeah, she
Yeah.
destroyed it and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
said it didn't exist. Like
Yeah.
if
No
anybody
one,
yeah.
yeah, no one could find it, right? No one could. Guess that's the way it was back in the day. The son got
Yeah.
everything because the girls didn't need it. They were going to marry somebody anyway, have their own kids and have their own house, right? But grandmom, no, she wasn't having any of that.
I love
Remarkable.
her.
She was ahead of her time, much ahead of her
She
time.
really was.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It really was.
You should talk. Yeah, yeah. You should talk to Auntie Joe and Auntie TC about that. I'm sure they have a lot more stories of what
Oh,
Mommy has growing up
Auntie
with
Jo
her,
has
right?
told me some good stories about her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what made dad get a will at the end of it? You and dad got it at the same time. Like
Well, he
how
had
did
been
you
diagnosed. He was pretty ill, so he knew there was something going on.
No, this
And
was before he got
no,
sick.
it was in October, and he was diagnosed in November. but he had
So
been
he
ill.
was, so he didn't know he had cancer, but he knew he wasn't feeling good.
He knew
Well,
he knew he was really sick. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
got
actually,
you.
we went in August before we went on our holiday, and then when we came
Greece,
back,
right?
we had the final meeting with her, and then yeah, it was just before he got his diagnosis, and we went back in the
Mm.
sign that he had had his diagnosis. Right. Yeah, that was a
Right.
matter
Because I
of like
remember
2 months.
and I remember when I had to call the lawyer for something I can't remember now. It was months and months later. And we were joking that he had told her the story about not wanting to do the will and then finally did it. And then he got the diagnosis. She was like,
Mm.
dark humor. I was like, dark humor for the Hogan.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
never wanted, then, ugh, joking
yeah.
like
Yeah.
jokesters. But
Mm,
then it was
mm.
done.
Yeah, then thank God,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Well, it just, I mean, I don't care how close you are to family or
Yeah,
partners, like when it comes down to money and properties and divvying up, like anything can happen. Like,
yeah,
so I think it's really important to know where things are going and how it's being divided. I mean,
yeah,
for us, I mean, you guys always said without even a will, like everything gets divided equally between the three of you. You always
mm,
pull it stuff in seniority. Like,
yeah,
so, but I mean, for some families, like, I mean, we've heard horror stories about fights over, like, a pair of earrings or an
I know.
instrument or a couch or a chair or an
yeah, yeah.
ATV. Like, it just, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, like,
Everything.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, I
I
mean,
And
always say,
imagine like
yeah.
imagine a family being torn apart after losing someone they all loved so deeply and dearly.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, and then you end up losing each other over
yeah.
money, material
honey,
things. Like
It's
it's
almost
yeah.
like
so,
that becomes a distraction in itself, right?
Well, I
and you
think
It's
it's
think
part
like
of
it
the
can never
grieving
happen.
process. And
yeah,
I know many, many stories that it's happened. Like,
I
it's
know.
yeah,
unbelievable what happens to families. But I think it's part of the grieving, the anger, and like I said, the distraction and
And
all of it.
yeah, and maybe it opens up some old wounds, right? Through
Totally.
siblings or whoever. Yeah.
absolutely. They're
Yeah.
buried, but they're not buried very deeply,
Oh,
right?
yeah, totally. And the connection to a material thing when really we all have our independent memories,
Yeah, yeah,
right? But
exactly, honey. Yeah,
a
mm,
lot of guilt and regret comes out with death and dying, and I think that comes
mhm.
through with when you get into like the nitty gritty of like fighting over just material stuff that doesn't matter.
Absolutely, honey. Absolutely.
Okay, but why haven't I booked the trip to South Africa?
Yeah.
Let's get back to South Africa. That's the only thing I can see, honey, is that if you fulfill that childhood dream, that's the end of your childhood dreams. I don't know.
It's the end of my
Childhood
childhood
gone.
dreams.
But like you said, that takes you so far back in time. That's something you always wanted. Is that, oh God, now if I do it, now, now I'm an old person. I don't know.
I think that's
It's
why
on
I
everything.
don't have bucket
To
lists. I
my
don't,
right
Yeah.
to my heart.
right? She'll take it right to the heart. But I think that's why I
I,
don't have a bucket list or never talked in bucket list lingo because it's always like it's kind of like what's next, what's next, what's next. Or like if you don't
yeah.
ever get to the list, it's like comes with a disappointment or
Mhm,
the negative
mhm.
narrative like why didn't I do it? And then the shame
Yeah.
around like, well, I had access to it. I had funds, I had time, I had
Yeah. Yeah.
people. So I like to take things in baby steps. Like, because there's pros and
Mm,
cons to a bucket list for sure. I mean, it's goals and aspirations, but there's something about calling it a bucket list because you hear about it like the things I need to do before I die. Well, what happens if you get diagnosed? You're like, shit, I never got to do my bucket list. Like, do you die with regret? Or do
Don't we
you,
all? Don't we all?
I hope not.
I think
I
we'll die
hope
with regrets, honey. Right? That's
I
a whole
don't.
interesting topic.
I hope we
you
A
all
regret
don't
regret
die
that
mine.
with
a regret.
regret.
What
What's
would you
that?
what would you regret?
Not living longer. Being angry because I had to go.
Oh my God,
Like
hilarious.
it's funny. We all know we're going to die. We just think it's not going to happen to me, right? We really do. It's like I don't know what it is that mindset. And I guess that's what helps us get up every morning, put one foot in front of the other, because each step we take is towards our own demise. Every decision we make takes us closer towards what? So you can't, if you thought like that, you'd never get out of bed in the goddamn morning. You just wouldn't, right? So it's this thing that I know I'm going to die, but I don't think I really am. That's what you do.
Yeah.
I think,
Well, it's like I know I'm
well,
gonna die, but I don't think it's gonna happen today, almost, you know? So then and then today is every day.
yeah, today is
I
every day. Is
honestly
exactly.
do not think like that at all. It's so interesting to me.
No?
No,
What do you think
like I
like?
know I'm, what's that?
What do you think like?
I know I'm going to die. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could
Yeah.
be in 10 years time, or it could be in 20 years time. But I think that's why that's why I'm motivated to get up every day, because it could be my last day. Like, so I want to get up and get out and enjoy, or sit on the couch and sulk if I want to. But if I get
Mhm.
up and sulk on the couch and it is my last day, I'm not going to regret doing that, because it's what I wanted to do. So I think when
Mhm.
I get up and do what I set out to do, I feel like, okay, that was a good day. If that's my
Perfect.
last, I'm good to go. I'm afraid of dying. I'm afraid of not living,
Oh, so
if that makes
profound.
sense. Right?
Yes, sweetheart. Yes, it does. Yes, we can't
Yeah.
be afraid of dying because we all have to die.
Yeah.
There's no choice. It's not a saying, raising your hand, do you want to go? It's just, when are you going? And
Yeah.
something or something other outside forces determine that for you. But no,
Yeah.
what's the point of being afraid? Because we all have to go. That's my point, right?
Yeah.
And if you were to go tonight, Danielle, there's nothing that you're like, oh, I wish I did that.
No, because if I wished I didn't, I would have already done it.
Mm.
Right?
Up to
How do
this
we
Like,
think?
point, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just
Anything?
kind of like, sorry.
No, go.
No, I just feel like I got good friends, I got good family, I had a good job. Like, it'd be nice to hear what people say to me after. But like, it is what it is at that point. Like, there's nothing I can
Yeah.
do tomorrow that would make me a different person if I went tonight versus tomorrow night.
Mhm. There's no like part of the world that you're like, God, I wish I saw that, or
No, no, like, I mean, I love to travel and I will continue to travel, but there's nothing I'm yearning for beyond travel and the experience of being with other people, or but I don't need it to feel fulfilled.
I
It's
feel
not the
like
going,
you
yeah. Sorry, sweetheart, go ahead.
I feel like, Danielle, you love to travel, but what's actually more important to you is who you're going on the trip with. I feel like if you were
Totally.
to be given like you can go to Finland, Iceland, or Japan, and you'd be like, cool, open to all three. Who's going? I feel like your experience of travel is wrapped up in the whole thing. Like who's going, what's the plan, what's the idea of it, what's the expectation on it. I think that's a big thing for you. Like, what are these people going to expect me to do? And then if it's something that you're like, that would be relaxing and respectful of what I want to do as well, then you're like, okay, I'll go there. Is that
Oh,
right?
100%. Like our upcoming trip to Italy, say for instance, like it's myself and two of my girlfriends going, and Martina and Deanne, and we travel well together. We started talking about Italy. I'm like, let's do it. Martina's been there before. Deanne and I haven't. And Martina is a planner just like you. So she's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I just want to go to Italy. I want to have fun. I want to see, like, my wish list was like, or my bucket list for Italy was like, I want to have fun. I want to have my own bedroom. I want to be able to go coastal and inland. Anything else? I don't care. You can plan it. And Martina has planned everything. But it is the experience for me and who I'm with, and making sure that we're all on the same page around, I need a home base. I don't want to jump every 2 or 3 nights. My body and my mind cannot handle that. But they're on the same mindset as me too. So that's why I think it works.
Yeah, you
Back in
go
the
for the
day,
vibe of it.
I go for the vibe of it, right? And the whole experience. Like it wouldn't work for me if the three of us had different ideas and expectations of what this would be like.
Just feel
It's
like if I got the choice of Finland, Iceland, or Japan, like equally three of those, I'm like, ooh, I want to go to all three, and I knew I could go with like a pocket of people that I'd be similar travel wise with, like similar enjoyment. I would base it on the place. I'd be like, what am I in the mood to do?
oh,
Like, but you'd
right.
base it on the feel of it. What about you, Mom?
Yeah.
Travel wise, well, I guess I was so
Yeah.
used to traveling with your dad, sweetheart, and most of our trips were road trips. Our in the RV, especially in the last 10 years, 10, 15 years of his life.
Mm.
And it was more about the journey, getting there. We had never had anything planned. We didn't know how far we were going to go. We always went down to the States and back. We went across Canada twice, drove from one end to the other, east to west coast. And it was always about us just being together, the conversations, the laughs, and the all that we shared going through the places that we stopped just because we were tired or just because it was a nice day or just because and the people that we met along the way, stories that we collected from people and from ourselves because of the things that we experienced. And to me that always brought me and your dad just the best joy, and I guess the best enjoyment of any kind of a trip. It certainly topped air travel or train travel because you don't get that one-on-one connection for such a long period of time, and with people as well, because you're passing people in airports and train stations and things like that. But when you're RVing, it's a whole different experience. You're kind of living in people's environment for short periods of time, little snippets of time, but you grasp then little snippets of people's lives and stories along the way. And as you know, your dad was always a great storyteller, and he absorbed whatever people would told him, and he had a very unique way of drawing people out, and getting from them
Mm.
exactly what he wanted to get from them. And so that was always the great. It was the journey itself, the time invested in going somewhere, and then the people, the interactions with other humans, because we are social beings. So that's what always made it for us.
When you guys backpacked around Europe, you and Dad,
Yeah.
did you stay in hostels like to meet other people? No.
No, not
No.
hostels. Just different hotels, whatever we came upon. And because we always had a car, your dad would drive
Oh
anywhere.
yeah, right.
Face the devil, your
Right.
father would. Yeah.
I
So we
know.
drove everywhere, but we always stayed in, not five-star hotels, mind you, but nice hotels where you felt safe and comfortable. And the odd time you didn't, but that was the luck of the draw, right? Depending on where you were. But yeah, it was just get in the car, and go.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was your
just
kind
go.
of ideal vacation. Almost like
Yeah, yeah,
you know where you know how you're gonna get there, but
yeah.
you don't care where you end up, kind of deal.
No, no, and the walking, we always enjoyed walking. There was days, no matter where we were, we'd get up in the morning. That was our go-to, and just walk. Sometimes we wouldn't be home until nighttime. You'd collapse in the bed, and we'd get up the next day and do the same thing again. And that again it was a walking journey because again, you meet people. You're stopping to eat, you're stopping to have a drink, or you're stopping to just to have a break outside of a cafe. And people are the same everywhere. We're social beings, like I said, and people are just only too happy to talk to you and find out where you're from and what you're doing. And like I said, sharing a human experience. And that's what it's all about. That's what we feel. That's what we get fulfillment from is from other people, the sharing of
I
life
think
stories.
I'm thinking, well, number one, I just want to say I love how the three of us are different. Like we all like to
Yeah.
travel, but we all like to do it for different reasons. And I'm laughing because
Well,
so many things are making sense of when I traveled with you. I remember surprising you and Dad on the cruise back in 2019. Remember, I didn't tell you I
mm,
was coming with you, and
yeah.
you guys had booked this cruise. Anyway, point of this is we were on some beach. I think it was like Tortola or something like that,
Yes. Yeah.
and Dad and David were swimming or something, and you and I went for a walk down the beach. And I remember there was a group of people, I don't know, maybe like five adults, like walking toward us, and I was walking through the water. So you were with me, and the people were like just feet away from us, but you were like, come closer, like so we can ask them, I don't know how they're doing or something. And I was like, what? Like who? And you were like, that group of people. I'm like, we don't know them. And you were like, what happened to you? And I'm like, what? And you're like, aren't you curious? Don't you want to engage? I was like, not one bit. Like, I just want to walk with you. And you were like, don't be so shut down, Nadine. And you walked away from me and you're like, hello, how's the walk? Oh, it's beautiful. Like, and then the second, and I'm like, oh, this makes sense because you travel to engage, to immerse
Yeah,
yourself in it. And you're like, who's around?
yeah,
What's their story? And a part of me is there for that. I do like a B&B. People hate a B&B or like
yeah,
an Airbnb where the hosts have like good ratings because it's like clean and safe and all the things we
yeah,
all look for. But also if the hosts kind of live nearby and they're really friendly and they get tons of reviews, like I'm booking that place because I do want to engage, but then I want my own space. So there's a part of me that likes it, but
yeah.
not strangers on a beach. And then the other thing I'm thinking of is when you and I walked in Spain, we walked part of the Camino together. And after a day and a half, you looked at me and you said, if this was your dad and I on this trip, we'd bail now. And I'm like, bail? But the point of this is like, I've organized 9 days of walking, mom. Like the point of it is to see each day through. And you were like, nah, I know how it feels now. It's been a day and a half. Like, it's like, oh, okay, this is how this would be. And then honestly, Nadine, we'd walk directly to a hotel, stay there, rent a car the next day, and we just drive to the next town. And I was like, my mind, I couldn't understand what you meant because I'm like, but we came to walk the Camino. Don't you want to see what the next day of the Camino is? And you were like, no, I get it. You're also a 7 on the Enneagram, like me. So you're like, okay, I got that. I know what this is like. Now I want to go do this. Now I want to go do this. This is very 7-ish of you.
It's
F
a sweetheart,
Y
whatever.
I.
It's also why I like, so we're all so different, the three of us, in terms of travel. And then we travel well together. Yeah,
We
because we
do.
travel a
Mhm.
lot
We
together.
do.
Yeah.
But you being, I don't know the ins and outs of the Enneagram, but
Also a 7?
you both being sevens.
Wait,
Like,
you just cut off. What'd you say?
I was like, I don't know much about the Enneagram, but you both being sevens, like, I'm just in the back seat. Like, now you know why I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. And who you guys are like Germany was amazing with the two. I can't even think of examples, and I hope. I mean, I really wish I had a GoPro on to like show the world the both of you in your prime because
Yes.
wowzers, you're so
Wait, give me an
you're
example.
so
Explain.
you're so similar, but you will fight that you're similar. Like, I know you know that you're similar, but I mean, for example, when we were driving and that day that you were watching, I think it was a GPS or mom had her phone. Remember? It was the, I can't remember where we're going now, but you were watching you wanted her to watch the GPS of the car, but she had her phone GPS on and she was trying to compare it to make sure that it was the same way. And then she got crooked and then you got crooked. And then I was in the back just like rocking back and forth in the fetal position because I felt so awkward that you guys weren't talking. And then you tried to break the ice by being like, hey, like, did you want to listen to like a podcast? And I was like, no, I do not. And you were like, what did
No,
she
I
say to
tried to
you?
engage her in her feelings first. I said,
Right.
okay, here's actually what happened. I have a really good
Okay.
memory. 2 times mom and I didn't talk in Germany.
I remember
One,
nothing. Nothing.
actually, no. What will actually highlight our 7-ish behavior and your 6-ish behavior, Danielle, because sixes are like, you're always like foreseeing like a potential problem. You're like, what could happen? What can go wrong? Mom and I are like, what could go right? So I get it. David's also 6. So traveling, I have to balance but what could go right with like, oh my God, Nadine, but what could go wrong? And now that I understand where he's coming from, I try to be way more compassionate. But in Germany, there was no compassion in this moment. There was a roadblock, and mom and I were like, what could go right? Let's drive around it. And Danielle in the back, you were like, no, you guys, it's a roadblock for a reason. Like there are rules. And we were like rules, Danielle, because on my GPS, if I went straight, we'd be at the next hotel in, I don't know, let's say an hour. If I detoured, It was like 3 hours. I'm like, that can't be right. And so mom and I were like, let's ignore it. And you were so frustrated in the back, but you definitely shut down and stopped talking to us. And mom and I were like, what could go right? And then I nearly drove over a bridge that basically didn't have a middle in it. Like it would have been bad news. And that's when mom and I were like, ooh, we should turn around. And that's when you were like, I told you. Why would you try to go around this? Why wouldn't you listen to the rules? Why would you ignore the signs? You nearly got us killed. Yes. That's
when the three
the
of us
other
would have needed a
time.
will.
Yes. That's a really good example of sevens and sixes traveling. But the other time you're thinking of, it's because Lorraine, I was driving and she was like, she kept going and it got to me. And at one point I was like, Mom, shut up. And mom did. She shut up for about 6 hours.
Right. I told us wrong. Great.
And then I said, and then like I knew I shouldn't have said shut up to my mother. I get it. So probably an hour into the silent driving on the Autobahn, I said, Mom, I hurt your feelings. Do you want to tell me? Do you want to talk about it? I definitely hurt your feelings and I'm sorry about that. She's like, what? I don't have any feelings, which is actually very sevenish. I don't even hurt my feelings. I'm just quiet. I'm like, no, I definitely hurt your feelings. Do you want to talk about it? And you were like, no, I don't have any feelings. And then I said, hey, Danielle, how are you feeling? And you were like, very uncomfortable. And then I said, do you want to listen to a podcast? And mom's like, no, but feel free to put your earbuds in if you do. I was like, I'm driving on the Autobahn. I can't wear earpods and listen to a podcast. And you were like, huh, okay. And then remember we would say to mom, this is how we would do it. Because we drove from Munich to Berlin. We took like a week driving from Munich to Berlin and stopping in small towns. It was such a good trip. And on the way to the next small town, mom would Google the town and tell us about it. So this was our longest drive this day. It wasn't 6 hours, actually. I exaggerated. It was probably 3, but that was like the longest of any day. And let's say we were coming upon Berlin. And I'm like, Mom, do you want to tell us about Berlin? And she was like, no, I don't. Oh my God. Oh, you know what? We were going to Dresden because
Dresden, yes.
yeah, because I remember when we got to Dresden, mom still wasn't talking to me. And we ended up in that set town square and parked the car. We checked into our hotel, which was so beautiful over the square. Then you and I sat down and we got a beer from one of the places in that little market in the middle. And we sat and mom went off to get an Aperol Spritz. And I looked at you, Danielle, and I said, why can't she tell me how she's feeling? And you said, she doesn't know. She needs time. And I was like, oh, and now I get it as a 7. I get it.
I think she just doesn't know how to tell you.
Yeah. You need time to like even to have to even be like, oh, I am feeling something. Because I definitely was mean to you. Like I told you to shut up. I mean, you were aggravating.
I admit I was. That's what 6 hours of that's what 6 hours of the car do for you.
I was like, one more gasp, Lorraine.
Yeah, she didn't gasp at the detour.
No, the detour, she was like, keep going, baby. You got it. You'll never lead us astray. You're such a good driver, Nadine.
Stop.
Yeah, I'm like, there is the end of the road. There's no road.
But we recognized it, honey, and we stopped.
After we did it like 3 times.
Yeah, it was yeah. And I can't,
We're sorry, sweetheart.
Sorry.
Anyway, I just think it's so interesting how we all definitely are different.
Yes.
Yet we can travel together. Like, well, I just think that
totally.
Yeah.
Also, we set clear expectations now. We're smarter about it. We communicate way better. If we traveled together 10 years ago,
way better.
Just the 3 of us, I think it would have been a hard time.
Oh my God, yes. And I think life circumstances
we're mature.
And we're mature and we communicate better. And
we know ourselves better and we know each other better. Sorry, I cut you off. What'd you say?
No. I was like totally just agreeing with you. Like, we just I don't think we would have been able to do this years ago. I mean, we would never have been able to do this years ago.
You just have more different stories.
Mm-hmm.
More fun.
Yeah.
That's part of life, sweetheart. You know, you can't not live in a certain quarter of your life because, you know, you don't know how to handle things. You go along and you go along and
We did the best we
Yeah.
could do with the tools we had, but we're doing
Mm.
much better with the tools we have now.
And we're
Yes,
still
totally.
making mistakes. We're still, learning from each other,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yeah, for
wonderful.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Which I
Wait,
love.
okay, our next trip that I'm excited about, the three of us, we're gonna do a little Vera tour. Okay, if anybody hasn't watched it, we love Vera on BritBox, sponsored by Vera and BritBox, and trench coats and the rain
And
hats. Anyway,
and
guys,
rain hats, yes, yes.
okay, so we got to get a trench coat. We got to get is it a green one she has? Like
The
a
green,
green,
yes, yeah,
like
yeah,
army
yeah.
green, and
Yeah.
her little rain hat. Okay, we have to get matching trench coats and rain hats. Mom and I will look for them while we're in London this May.
Oh yeah, that's
And yeah, and then we're gonna go to, I don't know where, I mean, we just have to Google it, but I don't know where it's set, but go to wherever it is in England and almost do like a Vera tour, like go to that house. Maybe we could find the house she lived in and
Oh my
some of the
God, yeah.
crime scenes.
With
and
that
with her
old,
dare.
that
Oh, yeah.
old Jeep, red like an old Jeep
Oh
Yeah,
that
yes.
she
What
has.
is
I
it?
think it's a
A
Jeep. Yeah.
Land
a
Rover?
Wrangler or something.
Yeah. We,
I
we'll have to
don't
look
know.
at the
We'll have to
details,
Google.
but it'll be our Vera
Okay.
tour.
Sounds
Yes.
wonderful.
You
Okay,
got
so
something done
before
with
we
your,
hop off, huh?
I was going to say, Mom's got stuff done with her computer. She keeps coming in and out.
I know it always like zooms in it. It's been doing that
Yeah.
for ages. You
Yeah.
got it on some kind of like view
Autofocus.
where when you move that, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
before we hop off, is there anywhere else in the world that you want to see that you haven't seen yet?
Me? No, no, because it's never, like I said, and I mean this wholeheartedly, there's no place that I want to go. I'm like Dempsey like that. It's the getting there and who I'm going to be with and who I meet along the way and when I'm there. But as regard, I'm sure your father and I went to Rome. We wouldn't even go in to see the Sistine Chapel ceiling. It wasn't important. It was just being in Rome, walking the streets, meeting people, fellow, like-minded tourists and local people. So I can't say no, there's any particular place in the world that I would love to go and spend some time in it because it's not about the destination, I guess, which is kind of, I don't know, might sound corny, but it
Listen,
really isn't. It could be someplace on the south coast of Newfoundland or the west coast of Newfoundland, or it's about the time you spend getting there and sitting in the environment and the people that you meet,
sweet.
along the way. Yeah. Yeah. How about you,
Joe?
sweetheart?
Dini?
No, you.
Oh,
You
me.
go,
Oh,
G. Yeah.
I'm kind of like Mom. Like, there's no destination that I have in the forefront of my brain. There's places I've been, and like we're very privileged. We've traveled quite a bit in our lives, in our adult lives. I definitely would revisit places, but there's no one place I'm like, I need to go there. Italy probably was always on like oh, I wonder what Italy would be like. So I guess I'll report back in June about that because it'll be,
You ate
I
such
know,
good
so amazing.
food.
But yeah, I think it's not again the destination for me. It's about the experience with the people going. And I mean, the Vera trip is going to be hilarious. Don't even know where it is, but I already know it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But like, is it England? Is it Scotland? Is it Ireland? Like, I
It's
really had to-
England.
England,
It's
honey.
England. Like at
It's
this
England,
moment,
yeah,
though, like I
yeah.
didn't know that.
You said there's places you go back to. Like name just one. Just one.
Ireland, I would go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah,
Over and
not
over and over.
like Dublin, but the Galway area, the western and southern part of Ireland. I just loved it. I definitely go back there in a heartbeat. Yeah. How about you, Jeannie?
All right. Oh my God, a million places. Like what? Like
Right.
name the day. But South Africa is huge on my list. As is spending, like we spent a day in Japan just coming back from another place. Where were we? I think Cambodia. And anyway, when we spent a day layover in Japan and both of us fell in love immediately and we're like, we want to spend a lot of time here. So those are like standout. But I have a million places I want to go. Name the day. Name the day.
Monday.
I also
Monday.
really do want to go to Tofino. There's a time of the year when it's like stormy season or I don't know, stormy season, rainy season that I read
Yeah.
about. Yeah, in Tofino and to stay close to the ocean. And I have this idea of staying somewhere with big windows and watching the ocean. Oh God, just storm and rage. I would love to do that. But anyway,
You can get that any weekend here, honey.
I
Storming right
I mean,
down
that's
the
what
ocean.
me and mom do on a Sunday. We always call you from like Cape
It's
Fear
true, yeah.
or
Yeah.
Middle Cove Beach when the storms are
Yeah, yeah.
raging. We do get called to
Exactly.
the sea often.
I know. Oh God, it just makes me feel at home.
Yeah,
It
for
does,
sure.
sweetheart. Yes, and it always will. It always will.
Yeah. All right, you two. Off you go.
Off
Awesome,
you go.
Danielle.
Off you go.
That's what mom says when she wants to kick you off the phone. I'm like, anyway, mom, and then I'll hear off you go. And I'm like, well, I guess Lorraine's done talking.
It's true,
When she's
sweetheart.
done,
Off
she's
you go.
done.
I
And
made
this
notes
is
though while we were talking about, I'm like, ooh, that's a good idea to talk about next time. That's a good idea. So
oh, good for you,
ideas.
sweetheart. Always learning, my little Curly, always learning.
Okay. Love you. Have a
Sweetheart.
good day.
Mwah. Love you,
Bye.
babies.
Love
Thank
you.
you.